What's going on, everybody? It's Game Unboxing Reviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Dimensions news update. Now, I know the first thing that you're probably thinking is, where have you been? You've missed so much. You've missed Scooby-Doo, you've missed a bunch of worlds that have been revealed, you've missed Midway Arcade, you've missed so much, and I do apologize for that. Don't worry, I've seen everything. I've been up to date on everything that has been announced for LEGO Dimensions since I've been away, but the reason I haven't been doing any videos is because I've been on holiday. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I've been, I made a statement saying that I'll be on holiday for, I think it was around 18 days, so I was gone for a while, but I was keeping up to date with everything, saving everything that I could find when I had an internet connection and things like that, so I could be ready once I came back, and here I am. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so this is of course the trailer analysis for the Scooby-Doo trailer, which doesn't show a lot of new stuff, but at the same time, it does give us a look at some of the cool things that we can expect to see with the content from certain franchises in LEGO Dimensions. And of course, this won't be the only video I'm doing quite a few videos for LEGO Dimensions, because like I said, I missed quite a few. I'm trying to compile them all into, not so long videos, because I don't want people to be sitting for hours, just watching my video. I want it to be, nice and compact, so you get the information straight away. So hopefully I make them not too long, but if I do apologize for that. So anyway, here we have Fred, Velma and Daphne outside the Mystery Machine. I just wanted to show this because it shows how true to the franchise's LEGO Dimensions is. And of course, not only that though, but Scooby and Shaggy are the only characters from Scooby-Doo that are playable right now, basically. Obviously, LEGO Dimensions is a game that's going to be supported for years to come. It could be all the way up to 2018 for all I know. I mean, it's hard to say, but I think this game is going to be supported for a very long time. So, if you want to see Fred, Daphne and Velma, if you want to see them playable, I wouldn't say it's entirely impossible. I think we might see them playable next year. They might release them or something. I'm not sure what they'd all be able to do, but the fact that they're in the story makes me think that they're going to eventually be released. I mean, it seems like a lot of the characters we're seeing in the story, they seem like great possibilities of characters that could be added later to LEGO Dimensions in, 2016 all the way up to maybe 2018. But we'll have to see. But, I still think it would be really cool to see these characters, because the cool thing about LEGO Dimensions is you can have 7 things on the toy pad at once. So you could have Scooby, Shaggy, Velma, Daphne and Fred all on the same thing, plus the Mystery Machine. I mean, that would just be so cool to be in the Scooby-Doo adventure world with all the Mystery Gang, with the Mystery Machine, just solving mysteries. I think that would be an absolute blast. Alright, so the reason I wanted to show this part of the trailer is just to give a look at, what enemies you're going to be taking on in the Scooby-Doo world, and possibly even the adventure world as well. And it is, of course, mummies. It's going to be monsters and mummies and things like that. There could be more than mummies, but for now, that's the only ones I've seen. And we can see, of course, Kragger from Legends of Chima taking on one right now. But the cool thing is, it's a shame that Scooby-Doo and a couple of other franchises aren't getting level packs, but I think people really need to understand the adventure worlds are huge. They have quests where you're going to meet classic characters and you're going to talk to them, and they'll give you missions that you can go do, and trust me, they are really cool. I've seen a few of them online, specifically more Wizard of Oz and the Lego Movie, but they're all great, and they have the the voice actors you expect to hear and everything. They're really cool. Plus you got the races and the collectibles, and they're just huge open worlds. So if you've ever wanted, I guess, an open world Scooby-Doo game, this is it. This is the game you can play. But of course, if you don't, you kind of get sick of that world, you can go anywhere you want. You can take Scooby and Shaggy anywhere. You can take them to Middle-earth, Gotham. You can take them to Springfield, Trenzalore from Doctor Who. You can take them anywhere. It's going to be an absolute blast, and I seriously cannot wait to see what everyone comes up with, because obviously I have my own ideas in mind of some of the combinations I want to make, but I'm really excited to see what the community is going to do, because I think after LEGO Dimensions is released, a community is going to get bigger and bigger, and I'm really excited to see how it all turns out. Now here we can see Scooby and Shaggy running away from the mummy in the circus, but here's the interesting thing about the mummy. It's riding its own brick build of a beetle. Now, what's interesting about this that I find is because the brick builds are for the characters, they're for the player itself. You've got the Mystery Machine, the DeLorean, there's so many, I can't figure them off the top of my head, but they're for the player, they're not for anyone else. So this is the first time we've actually seen an enemy using what looks to be a brick build of something. So then I thought, is this a tease at a fun pack that's going to be released or something like that with the mummy and the beetle? Personally, I doubt it, because the reason I say that is, I think people would be quite shocked if, say, the mummy was released rather than, say, Fred, Velma or Daphne, because those those are characters that people actually want. You know, people really want all the Mystery Inc. in the game eventually. I mean, obviously, you know, we've got Scooby and Shaggy now, which is great, and they look awesome and they have really cool abilities, but people want more. You know, there are fans of all these franchises and they want to see more from that specific franchise, which I love about LEGO Dimensions. You know, my favorite content in LEGO Dimensions so far is Doctor Who. I mean, that blows my mind. Every time I see something about Doctor Who in this game, it just makes me so happy. It's just so cool. So I would love to see even more content from that. So I can understand people wanting to see more content from Scooby-Doo. So, you know, I think personally it's probably not going to be a future pack. I could be wrong, but I think what this is more than likely is a boss fight. And it looks cool, you know, being chased by a mummy on a brick build of a beetle in a circus sounds pretty terrifying, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Now here we can see Scooby-Doo flying around in Zane from LEGO Ninjago's Freeze Fighter, which is really cool. But I think the most important thing about this part of the trailer is what we're seeing in the background, and that is of course Trenzalore, which is the adventure world for Doctor Who, and it's just so cool. I mean, what I love about this is, you know, I'm worried every time I see like a hub world for a LEGO game or something, I always worry that it's going to be empty. You know, it never is. It never really is empty, but you always worry there's not going to be any life or anything going on. But we can see here Scooby is just flying around. He's not doing a mission or anything like that. He's not doing a race. He's just flying around. But in the background we can see Cybermen, we can see Weeping Angels, and they're all trying to get you. And I just think that is so cool. I mean, being the Doctor on Trenzalore and just being chased for hours by all his enemies, I mean, that just sounds so cool. It's such a perfect choice for Doctor Who as well. Now obviously, you know, the adventure worlds in LEGO Dimensions, they aren't just one thing. You know, for example, we've seen from The Wizard of Oz, yes, you know, you have the Emerald City, but if you jump over the edge, you have Kansas. So I think, you know, they've said recently in an interview that each adventure world has their own take on this. You know, some may be up in the sky, some may be underground. You know, they've said that some are just water. Like, you would basically, you could play Scooby-Doo in the Lego movie world and you would jump in the water and you can actually dive underwater and there's a whole new area. Or if you go to Gotham City, you can dive underwater and there's Atlantis. I mean, can you imagine that? When Aquaman comes out next year, it's just going to be so cool, jumping into the water and just walking around Atlantis. I mean, I hope Mera or something like that is there as one of the quest givers, because that would just be so cool. So I'm really excited to see what is underneath Trenzalore. You know, I know a lot of people probably have some suspicions at what it could be, but, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Now here we can see Shaggy flying around in what looks to be Benny from the Lego Movie spaceship. We can also see next to him is a weird ghostly looking mailbox in what looks to be the Ghostbusters story mission in LEGO Dimensions. Now the cool thing about LEGO Dimensions for certain franchises is they're getting second missions, and what I mean by that is things like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Doctor Who, Portal 2, they get level packs, and the level packs come with a character, a vehicle, and, you know, you get a whole new level. And they've described recently what these are, and they're basically, what if TT Games made a Lego game based on these popular franchises? You know, what if TT Games made a Lego game based on Ghostbusters? That's what you're getting. You're saying you get a mini experience of what that would be like, and I just think that's so cool. And they've said there is still no limits to that. You know, those missions are strictly, you know, based entirely around that one franchise. There's no crossovers or anything in those missions. But if you want to make crossovers, you can totally do that. You can literally go out, pick up the Ghostbusters mission, you know, play it, and then not even play as a Ghostbuster if you don't want to. You can play as Shaggy and Scooby and just run around that mission. It's entirely up to you. And I think what's cool about this is, you know, it's a shame not every franchise is getting a level pack. But I think what makes up for this is the adventure worlds. You know, if you're a fan of Ninjago, you get this whole adventure world based on that. Or if you're a fan of Scooby-Doo, or, you know, there's so many adventure worlds. There's 14, obviously. There's so many areas and things to explore. This game is huge. And the cool thing is, this is year one. I mean, just imagine how big this game is going to be in years to come. Now here we see Superman smash down a wall for the Mystery Inc. in the LEGO Dimensions Scooby-Doo mission. But here's the thing, I think I realized why he does that. So basically, if you look back on some of the older videos from, I think, IGN and GameSpot and thing from E3, is when they revealed the Portal 2 content. And obviously, you know, they showed the Aperture Science Labs mission from the main story mode. But if you look back on that, there's one video where you see them spawn in Homer Simpson, but they don't spawn him in to play as him, they spawn him in to help. And basically what he does is he comes down in the wrecking ball like like in the Simpsons movie, and smashes this thing up, and I think he opens up a path for them. I can't really remember, but basically it seems like you can spawn certain characters in to help. And in this case, I guess Superman comes in, you know, you spawn him in, and then he smashes down this wall so he can get through, or maybe find a collectible or something like that. Now obviously the game is always free play, so you know, you could probably find everything on the first time, I guess, but at the same time you could always go back into that mission and pick up anything you may have missed the first time, which is really great to hear. Now next up is a pretty funny part of the trailer. Here we can see Scooby and Shaggy, and they're not looking themselves, they look a little different. Basically what this is it's their special ability in-game, and it's a pretty funny ability, I guess you could say. Basically what they do is to get past, I think it's to do with getting past enemies and cameras and things like that. It's kind of like their stealth ability is they put on a disguise, and in this case an old lady, they put on this disguise so they can get past, and both of them can use it, which is really interesting because I remember seeing a few months back when we first, you know, got the reveal of the Scooby-Doo content. I did see one video where Scooby did actually do this, and I thought it was pretty funny to see, but it's great to also see that Shaggy also has this ability. And you know, that doesn't mean they're copy and paste. They're not copy and paste characters at all. They both have their own abilities. Shaggy has his torch, which I would imagine can help him light up dark areas, and Scooby doesn't. You know, Scooby can do things like he can dive underwater and go, you know, fully underwater and explore these underwater areas and participate in underwater races and all that good stuff, unlike Shaggy, who would have to use an underwater vehicle to actually get down there. So they aren't copy and paste characters. They may share these abilities, but you know, they're also different outfits as well. It's really fun, and it's very true to the franchise because of course these characters, they do put on disguises to get away from monsters and things like that. So it's really cool to see something like this in the game. Now here we get our first in-game look at what looks to be the LEGO Dimensions Midway Arcade mission. Now obviously, you know, I doubt this is the level pack for LEGO Dimensions because they're kind of trying to avoid that and, you know, be more of a unique experience that everyone's going to discover for the first time when they play it. So they're not really showing them in trailers or anything like that. So this is more than likely the story mission that you come across, you know, with Batman, Wildstar, and Gandalf. But it looks super cool and it looks really retro. That's what's great. You can see a key, you can see chests, goblins, you can see these weird grey-haired guys in the background. I think those are ghosts that Shaggy is running into. It just looks so retro and so awesome. And of course, I'll be talking more about the Midway Arcade as we get through a bunch of other videos. I'll be talking about, you know, with what you get in the level pack and things like that. It's going to be really exciting. And personally, I'm really excited about the Midway Arcade content. I think it looks awesome. Now here we can see Scooby and Shaggy running away from some ghosts in the Ghostbusters headquarters, and they look absolutely terrified. I mean, this place though alone, you know, the Ghostbusters headquarters looks amazing. I mean, it looks so authentic and true to the movies. It looks great, it really does. Now obviously we can see all the ghosts flying around and everything. Peter Venkman is actually the only character that has that ability currently to be able to capture ghosts. No other character has that, so he's a very unique character. So if you see ghosts in, say, an adventure world or a level or something like that, they will stay there until you know, Peter Venkman can actually take care of them. Personally, I would love to see if, you know, let's say you're playing as Peter Venkman and you see some ghosts and you take care of them. I think it would be cool if you come back later and they're still there, just so you can, you know, if you just want to capture ghosts just for fun. Obviously, you know, the first time it would count towards, say, collectibles or whatever, but it would just be nice to have ghosts roaming around an area and you can just capture them all day long. I think that would be really cool. Now one ghost that does stand out is the green one, and apparently that is a new enemy from Lego Ninjago called a Screamer. Now I don't really know a lot about this. Apparently it's quite a new enemy, but it looks interesting and it's cool to see that kind of crossover because we can see Scooby-Doo, Ghostbusters and Ninjago all in one image, and it all looks really cool. And last but not least, of course, here we can see Scooby-Doo riding around in the Mystery Machine in the Simpsons house living room. And this just looks so cool, but at the same time, it's completely destroyed. You know, there's just wood everywhere and broken bits and just, it's, even the couch is being destroyed. It's crazy. But here's the thing, in LEGO Dimensions, they have this really cool thing called Hub World Renovation. And what that is you go back into an adventure world and you fix what might have happened in that world. So this looks to be the story mission of when you're actually going to meet the Simpsons in the main story with Batman, Gandalf and Wildstar. But my guess is that in the adventure world, let's say you buy Homer, Bart or Krusty, you would then unlock that adventure world, you could go into Springfield and then my guess is what you would do is you would go inside the Simpsons house, and if you had enough money, you could rebuild the interior. And I'm really hoping I'm right, because if we can walk around, you know, we've seen how massive Springfield is, and it looks huge, and we've probably seen, not all of it, there's probably more that we haven't seen yet. It looks great. But if you can actually go inside the interior of the Simpsons house and actually rebuild it as well, that would just be so cool. We've seen in some videos, you know, the rebuilding system is just so cool. You basically need enough studs and you can rebuild what is damaged in that mission or in that world. So, for example, in a Wizard of Oz world, you can go into Kansas and rebuild some of the houses and things that were destroyed during the tornado. It's just little things like that are so cool, and it allows you to really customize your experience. You know, do you want those buildings restored or not? Obviously, once they're restored, you can't, you know, unrestore them. That's impossible. But it's still cool to see that you don't actually have to do that if you don't want to. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the video, sorry for not having any news for so long. I've been on holiday, so I haven't really been able to do anything, but I've been keeping up to date on everything. And, you know, LEGO Dimensions, like I've said so many times now, it looks absolutely incredible. It really does. This is my most anticipated game this year. I'm so excited to finally play it with all these new franchises and everything. I can't wait to show you all the game. We're going to be showing off the adventure worlds and the characters and the missions, and there's just so much content. It's crazy. I'm gonna have so much to do, and I cannot wait. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.